Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and welcome to the final part of Sonic Chaos. Yeah, this game is short. And I love the music that plays in this level. A lot of Sonic games will have this effect where, or at least the more modern ones anyway, will have this effect when you're in the water where the music gets muffled. And I'm really glad this doesn't happen here. This level is actually surprisingly easy and forgiving in that you can skip all of the water here. Dash pads, awesome! Yeah, this was the first 8-bit Sonic game to have dash pads in them. I don't remember them being in previous 8-bit Sonic games. So it's pretty cool that they exist. Oh man, why can't I jump up to that spring? Yeah, if you thought Sonic controlled bad on the ground, you should see him in the water. So you push open that door, and the current or something sucks you in. And then, yeah, I didn't see any wavy underwater lines showing a current or anything. Yeah, this water path really sucks, but at least it's not the water level in previous 8-bit Sonic games. But yeah, a lot of people love the music of this level. I mean, this is the best song in the game. This is one of the best songs in all of 8-bit Sonic. I watched the Hellfire Com Sonic-a-thon playthrough of this, and someone actually donated so that the person running the game could stand still and let them listen to all of the music of this level. That's how popular the song is. And I can see why, it's pretty awesome. And I think usually what happens with chiptunes music is that when they try to update them, when they try to remix them, it completely loses the feeling of the original. So I don't like any of the remixes of this tune. The loops in 8-bit Sonic games work kinda weird. Because it's like you push up at the side of them when you're trying to go through them. And most importantly, when you go through them and you hold down, you don't curl into a ball and start going through it faster like you do in the Genesis games. And I'm not sure why. Like, there's no real excuse for that. I like how this level has a lot of slopes at least. I mean, that's good. So, this is the second special stage. And it can be easy to panic here because you've got a time limit that's constantly ticking down, and you don't really know exactly where you're supposed to go, what route you're supposed to take to get the Chaos Emerald. I was lucky and I managed to get the Chaos Emerald on my first try. Even though this was literally my first try of this special stage ever, I somehow managed to get it. So it can't be that hard. If you jump onto these time things, then you get more time. So that's good at least. Use the spring shoes and jump off them because you won't have enough height to get onto that platform otherwise. And yeah, like I said, a lot of momentum. So you gotta be careful when using these things. And there's the Chaos Emerald. A yellow one. Or an orangish one, I guess. A lot of people complain about the pink Chaos Emerald. Like, there are a lot of Sonic games where there are pink Chaos Emeralds. I mean, mostly the classic ones, like Sonic R and stuff. I don't really mind that, though. I mean, I don't mind the fact that the colors of the Chaos Emeralds are pretty inconsistent. But, you know, they're called the Chaos Emeralds. Of course they're inconsistent. It makes sense. Like, Chaos Energy is basically the magic of the Sonic universe. So it makes sense that because it's all magic and it's all chaotic and unpredictable and constantly changing, it makes sense that the Chaos Emeralds would change color. I have no problem with the Chaos Emerald that is pink either. Probably because I'm a girl, but pink is... it's definitely not my favorite color. I think if I had to pick a favorite, my favorite color would be blue. This boss is a nightmare in the Game Gear version. Yeah, I'll be showing off version differences in an extra video. I hate how this boss has a last resort attack. His missile attack is pretty easy to avoid though, because he fires 3 missiles, and then he fires 3 from the other side, and then from the other side. But yeah, he's a lot harder. The bosses of this game are a lot harder in the Game Gear version, because you pretty much... Oh, I hate that thing! If you just walk to the right the instant you start out the level, you're guaranteed to get hurt by that thing. And you can't jump into him to kill him. It makes so that he's not a threat anymore. If you're trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds, then you're going to be tediously jumping on every single spring, trying to collect every single ring here. And see what's above me there? If you land on it, then you're going to fall directly down. So you have to land on the ring boxes. A lot of bottomless pits in this level, so it's really easy to die. And why did that platform respawn? Later on when I played this level, the platform did respawn. Ugh. Also, you've got tubes again. Because we loved them in Scrambled Egg Zone, didn't we? Although they're not nearly as bad as the ones in Scrambled Egg Zone, because Sonic stops when he's at a point in the tube where he can turn. I pressed the A button on the platform, but because he was moving so fast, I guess he was on the edge by the time I pressed it. Yeah, I don't like this level. Something I haven't mentioned about the goalpost yet is that if you get a Tails goalpost, then you're guaranteed to get a continue. I don't know if that's the same way when you're playing as Tails. I mean, it would make sense that when you get a Sonic goalpost, you get an extra life as Sonic. And if you get a Tails goalpost as Tails, then you get an extra life. Oh yeah, and the minecarts are here too. I don't know why people complain so much about minecarts in Sonic games. I mean, they're pretty fast and fun. Kinda automated though, I guess. You get a continue for every Chaos Emerald that you get, and every 5,000 points. You can't really see the amount of points that you have though, which is weird because a lot of Sonic games, especially the Genesis ones, they're going to show you your score above the time limit, or at the top left corner of the screen somewhere. Here you can't see your points at all. Yeah, I failed this special stage because, well, at first it seems like it's just the same thing over and over again, then it's easy. And that's why it's mind-numbingly boring, because it drags out itself way too long. But eventually it throws you a curveball. And you're expected to hold certain directions when the path changes, or you won't get the Chaos Emerald. Hold up there. Because I didn't hold up at the first opportunity that I could, I got sent into here. I don't know why Sonic has to be invincible when he's in those pipes. I mean, are those pipes radioactive or something? Is that why he needs to be invincible? Yeah. So if you screw up here... Yeah. I hate these pipes because they're exactly like the ones from Scrambled Egg Zone. You don't stop in them at all. So you really do have to... Well, I don't think you have to exactly time your directional presses. I think that just holding the direction until you get to the point where you need it, I think that's fine. But still, those tubes are really annoying, and I hate them. It just sucks how, if you don't turn at exactly the right time, and you're expected to have lightning fast reflexes to react quickly enough, then you're guaranteed to be in an unwinnable situation, and you're never going to... And there's no time item boxes at all. So it's not like you can get more time if you screw up. I'll be showing the rest of that special stage in an extra video. Look at how many continues I've got. And that's a very good thing, considering that the final boss of this game is hell. It's absolute hell. Like, you might think that this game looks really easy, but it's gonna get a lot worse starting with the final boss. And yeah, it's like the tube sucks you in if you go too close to it. It's like I didn't want to go into that tube, but because I was trying to get the ring box right next to it, I ended up going back into it. I don't think there's really a benefit to collecting all of the ring boxes. Why did that platform respawn that time, but not the previous time? I think walking onto those gray switches on the floor is what causes the green stuff to fall. But yeah, this boss fight is absolute hell. This is easily my least favorite boss fight in all of the 8-bit Sonic games, and probably my least favorite in, well, no, I hate the Sonic 2 boss fight worst of all. But this is horrible because the boss is completely solid. It's not like most Sonic bosses where you damage it and then you can go through it. No, this boss is solid. It pushes you back like a wall. And because of that, if you lose rings, it's really hard to get them back because you get stunned and then you try to jump over him, but you hit him and get knocked back because he's a solid wall. And you shouldn't be knocked back from hitting him when you're not hitting his head. You need to hit his head to damage him. And his head is such a tiny part of his hitbox. And he's constantly throwing these projectiles that bounce all over the place. And it's really hard to avoid getting hit by them. It's so cheap. Why am I expected to avoid getting hit by those things when I'm bouncing on him? And the boss seems not that bad, but here's where it gets really bullshit. He has a last resort attack after you finally beat him. And that's basically a Kaizo trap to me, because I finally beat this horrible boss. And all I wanted was to just beat the game, but no. He starts flying around the place. And he has an insta-kill attack. If he hits you when he's flying around, you die no matter how many rings you have. And you can't hit the bottom of the ship or you'll die. You have to jump on his head. At least it's predictable where he'll come out of, because he goes from the left side of the screen to the right, to the left, to the right. And I'm pause scumming here. That's how careful I'm being, because I don't want to die here. It's really easy to get killed here, because he comes out of the side of the screen so fast and so suddenly. It took me a while to figure out that I had to land on his head to kill him. I don't know why. But yeah, this boss frustrated me to no end when I first played the game. I almost rage quit. I lost all of my lives, and I even used up a continue or two. So yeah, if you beat the game without getting all the Chaos Emeralds, then Eggman flies away and he has a Chaos Emerald with him. And then you get the bad ending, which isn't really that bad, to be honest. I mean, sure, Eggman gets away with the Chaos Emerald, but there are plenty of points in the Sonic franchise where he has at least one Chaos Emerald. And not much horrible things results from it. Yeah, a brief sneak peek at the Game Gear version. So, the thing about Tails is that he's not allowed to use the rocket shoes for some reason, which means that he can't get all the Chaos Emeralds because he can't play the first special stage. And so to make up for that, the game always guarantees that you'll get the good ending if you beat the game as Tails. Which is good because it means I was able to show you the credits of the game without borrowing somebody else's footage. So that was Sonic Chaos. And what can I say about it that I haven't already said? I mean, well, that is really bad font. I can barely tell that that's an M. GAN design? That's what it looks like. This game's credits has a really weird problem. Again, why are there so many 8-bit Sonic games where the people who made the games don't seem to be properly credited? Because there's just pseudonyms here. I mean, first of all, why would anyone be okay with... If they're being forced... I don't know if they're being forced to use pseudonyms. I don't think Sega would do that. Like, what, are they ashamed of making this game? Because this isn't a bad game. I think it's pretty fun. It's pretty fast and fun, and I think I would have preferred it if the controls aren't nearly as good as in Sonic 1 and 2 MS. They're not nearly as tight. So I don't think I would have liked it if they had more focus on precise platforming like the previous two games, because you're slipping and sliding everywhere. So it's not really fair to expect you to do precise platforming with controls like this. So it's good that they tried to make the level design a lot more fast and fun, with a lot of slopes and loops everywhere. But unfortunately, the level design doesn't match up to the Genesis games. So I'd rather play Sonic 3 than this. Thanks to Hitmen. What are there, snipers? Seriously. Why do people choose these pseudonyms? I like the way the game looks, and well, I especially like Sonic Sprite, because Sonic Sprite has a lot more emotion to it than in the previous 8-bit Sonic games. In the previous ones, he looked kind of blank and emotionless, like in Sonic 1. In this game, he has a lot of emotion to him. Like, his idle animation, he has a smirk, and he looks annoyed. It shows off his personality better. Like, I like the way this game looks, and well, the soundtrack, a lot of it sounds like it's just improvising. But I love Aqua Planet Zone's theme. And I like Sleeping Egg Zone's theme, too. The soundtrack doesn't measure up to Sonic 1 8-bit, though. Well, and I love how the boss fights of this game don't force you to fight them without rings, which is especially good because they'd be unplayable if you couldn't play them without... I think that's why they introduced rings in the first place. Because playtesters probably weren't able to beat the bosses because they didn't have any rings. So it's good that the boss fights, because this Sonic game introduces a lot of trends for the 8-bit Sonic games. There's a lot of things that this game introduced. So a lot of people think that this game is forgettable and stuff, and it's definitely a lot less memorable than Sonic Triple Trouble. But I think that it still deserves credit for setting a new era of 8-bit Sonic games. The next part, I'll be showing off version differences. Basically showing off what makes the Game Gear version different. And also be showing off Tails. And how exactly he's not nearly as fun to play as he is in the Genesis era. And also be showing off all the special stages that I missed. See you then.